Longtime friend and legendary general manager of the prestigious Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Tokyo's Midtown is with us here in the Kong Show, Mr. John Rolfs.
Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Nice to see you again.
Pleasure.
It's been about 18 years that we've been
18
together.
years ago at the Ritz-Carlton Osaka.
Absolutely. How did the Ritz-Carlton in Tokyo do in this past year of 2015?
Son, we had a wonderful year, probably one of our best. Financially, the city of Tokyo just seems to be doing unbelievably. So we obviously got our fair share of the market here. But in addition to just doing well with lots of hotel guests and restaurant guests and spa guests, I think the main thing is that we got some renovation out of the way and that we wanted to do. We finished with our Japanese restaurant back in late December, and so we opened in January of 2015 with a completely renovated and restructured, re-engineered, reinvented Japanese restaurant that's a little more modern but still has the features of sushi, teppanyaki, tempura, kaiseki, and some private rooms. And then we also renovated all of our guest rooms, and we renovated our club lounge and expanded it and made it more of a New York-style apartment with a welcome foyer and sitting area and open kitchen and a library and bar. And so it's a complete wonderful place for guests that stay on the club level and have their own private lounge up on the 53rd floor.
So it offers some magnificent and inspirational views of Tokyo.
We, I believe, are the highest building in Tokyo, and at 53 floors, we have 360-degree views from our areas throughout the hotel. The club lounge has, I'm looking right now over at Shinjuku, I'm looking out at Mount Fuji, I can see over the bay of Tokyo, so some wonderful views.
And you can see Tokyo Tower right down the street.
Right down the street, and then that's even where Towers Restaurant comes from, is that when you sit in Towers Restaurant, you can see Tokyo Tower as well as Skytree Tower.
Now, speaking of restaurants, your French restaurant, Azur, recently earned a Michelin Star back in November.
Very proud of that. We hired Chef Miyazaki about a year and a half ago with the sole desire to become a Michelin restaurant, and he certainly brought his team to the level that needed to be, and his food and the service that goes with it. And yes, on December 3rd, we were fortunate enough to receive the Michelin One-Star Award for this year.
Congratulations.
We're excited about that.
Next few years are going to see some big developments here for the Ritz-Carlton brand here in Japan with new hotels scheduled.
Yeah, we have a new hotel in Nisseko that we've just signed. Our Okinawa property's been open for a couple of years now, okay. And that's doing really well. Actually, it opened in May back in 2012. So we have operating hotels, Okinawa, we've got Kyoto, which is probably the best hotel in the country of Japan. It is just unbelievable the way it was built and the service and the style. It's a modern-day Ryokan. And then obviously we have the flagship first one, the Ritz-Carlton Osaka, and then Ritz-Carlton Tokyo. So we have 4 hotels now. We just signed one in Nisseko. I think our company is ready to have as many as we can in Tokyo. We've looked at several different sites. We're realizing now that Japan, before, a number of people come in and they're going to the Tokyo, Kyoto, the Osaka areas, but now they're realizing that there's so much more to do in this country. And so whether it be a small hotel in Nikko, whether it be one in Ishikawa Prefecture, whether we end up getting one in Fukuoka or out on Kyushu areas, that we're looking at it, and we would love to have a Ritz-Carlton Hotel throughout this country.
Are you overseeing all of the various hotels here in Japan?
I will oversee Nisseko. Now, obviously, I have a development team and various people from the Ritz-Carlton corporate office that have put together the deal, but it'll come under my operation, and we will open it, we will train everybody, and it'll be part of the Ritz-Carlton Hotels of Japan.
Now, I understand you're making some changes to my former home, the Ritz-Carlton in Osaka.
Yes, the Hanagatami restaurant, which is their Japanese restaurant, refigured sushi bar that overlooks a garden inside the restaurant. We're excited for the Ritz-Carlton Osaka.
Well, it sounds like you're enjoying a very exciting life with the Ritz-Carlton, but what drew you to the hotel industry? What was the bug that bit you? This is
no,
a personal question.
Yeah, that's all right.
Is that okay? All right. What got you into this industry?
A few years ago when I was younger, a few years ago, I was living in upstate New York in the United States, and I was thinking of going to college. and I wanted to be a pilot. And so I was looking at going to the Air Force Academy because I always was fascinated with airplanes. And my father suggested just down the street was this school called Cornell University. And he said, look, why don't you apply there? And I went down and looked at it. I thought the campus was nice. I thought, okay, I don't know much about the hotel industry, although I had worked in summer jobs before going to Cornell that was all in hotels. And I just ended up applying there, got in, and never stopped. And I loved it so much that I had an older brother that was at another university. He transferred into the Cornell Hotel School behind me, so he's older than me, but now I was a junior, he was a sophomore. And then I had two younger sisters that also came to the Cornell Hotel School. So at one time there were four of us. I worked for Ritz-Carlton, my brother worked for Independence, my sister worked for Four Seasons, another sister worked for Hilton.
Wow.
And my father has nothing to do with the hotel industry.
But he got a free room in a lot of different places, right?
Yes.
John, what's the most fun part of your job? I mean, I guess you have a chance to meet very interesting guests from all various walks of life. People who have done things, VIPs, people who have achieved big things, movie stars, rock stars, right? What's the most fun part?
That's nice to have them in your hotel, although I prefer to allow them to their privacy. Yes, it's enjoyable to be able to go home at night and say who you have to yourself, who you have staying in your hotel, and how we're taking care of them. I think, though, the most enjoyable part in the hotel industry, I find myself, is being a mentor to some of the younger staff and seeing them progress in their careers. This is my 12th Ritz-Carlton Hotel, 10th as general manager, and throughout the world we now have 91 hotels, and it's interesting, I think there's 7 or 8 general managers of other hotels that used to be my assistants. There's many people that from many years that I've just seen progress through their jobs in the hotel industry, and I think that's part of the fun of seeing people progress in their careers.
I think you're probably inspiring many of our listeners right now with what you're talking about. So what would you suggest to someone who would like to follow in your footsteps and get into the hotel business? Where do you start?
It's not rocket science. I mean, we are not here trying to create the next invention that is going to change the world like Steve Jobs. We are here, we're a group of individuals that enjoys taking care of others, trying to make them feel good, looking for something special that we can make their experience a little bit more memorable. So if somebody's looking to get into the hotel industry, there's certainly lots of jobs. They're entry-level jobs, but you can progress quickly. And I think the most important part of it is an attitude of wanting to help others enjoy their experiences inside hotels. There's so many different departments, whether it be sales or rooms or food and beverage or finance or things of that sort in hotels. And with us opening or having hotels throughout the world, it is very easy to see the world because of the hotel industry. My wife and I were on our 18th city since just with Ritz-Carlton. I've lived in the hotel industry, I've lived in 18 cities. I think I've lived in 24 cities throughout my life.
Care to name just a few?
Sure. I've lived in Europe. I met my wife in Paris. My daughter was born in the Middle East in Amman, Jordan. I've lived in Shanghai. I've lived in Tokyo. I've lived in Aspen, Colorado. I've lived in New York, Boston, Miami, New Orleans, Las Vegas. And it's like you have the opportunity to move if you like that lifestyle.
Do you have any jobs available here at the Ritz-Carlton in Tokyo?
I have several server positions. I have several cook positions. I have restaurant manager positions. I have spa therapist positions. I have basically a lot of positions in the hotel that if the people with the right attitude want to come work here, we'd love them to come apply.
I don't know if this is true, but I heard at one particular time in this hotel, all of the Phillips screws that were put into the doors go exactly north, south, east, west. Is that true? Or is that,
you got me on that one. You got me on that one, but I'm going to say yes.
Yes, okay.
But I don't know. I would not doubt it, though. There's the craftsmanship and the pride that's taken in whether you're a cook or you're an umbrella maker of the Japanese is just amazing, and it's for the rest of the world to see. The fact is that there's pride in all of it, and so I would not doubt that story.
Many of our listeners, viewers, and readers are considering a trip to Japan right now. Do you have any message for our viewers around the world?
Yes. come to Japan and enjoy one journey and two capitals. We have two of the best hotels in this country, one in Kyoto and one in Tokyo. And so you can enjoy the modern feel of a major city in the world in Tokyo, or you can feel the Zen-like feeling that you get from Kyoto.
Mr. Rolfs, congratulations on all of your successes and all that you have done and brought to the Ritz-Carlton hotels here in Japan. You've done a marvelous job. And thank you very much for joining us here on The Kong Show.
Absolutely a pleasure. Absolutely a pleasure always to see you.
The Japan Today website. John Rolfs.
My pleasure.